There are a lot of important things to do on cruise embarkation day, but these are the things that you absolutely must do as soon as you get into your cruise cabin, or you might regret it. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, there's nothing like opening the door to your cruise cabin for the first time. It just can take your breath away. But there are a few things that you absolutely want to do right away. I kind of call it like cruise cabin prep. And those are the things that are going to set you up for, well, a good time in your cabin for the rest of the cruise. And if you don't do them right away, there are some things that you just can't ever get that time back. So you do want to do it right away, probably within that first half an hour after you get into your cruise cabin. Now, before I get started, I wanted to mention two things. Firstly, if you've cruised before and if you have some tips to add, please leave them in the comments below. We all learn from each other and our cruises just get better and better that way. And secondly, if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Now, I've got about 12 or 13 points, but let's start with number one, take a photo of your cruise cabin. Now, even if you're not a YouTuber, even if you're not planning to put this on Instagram, this is a time that your cruise cabin is going to look, well, cleaner than it will ever look again throughout the entire cruise. So this is a time that you do want to take that photo, take that video so that you can remember it later on. Maybe you're going to put that in an album later. Maybe you just want to remember it. Maybe you want to show other people when you get home. This is really the time to do it. Trust me, I've done it before where I haven't taken my photos right away and I have regretted it. Number two, check if your bed configuration is as per request. Now, this is something really unique to cruise cabins as compared to hotel rooms. When you're in a hotel room, you usually have a queen or a king size bed or sometimes a full. But when you're on a cruise ship, they usually have two twin beds that can convert into sort of a queen king size, and they do put them together if you want that queen size, or they can separate them. Now, sometimes it will happen that you'll get on the ship and the beds won't be configured as per your request when you booked. This is really not a big deal, but when you do meet your cabin attendant, this is something to mention so that they do set it up properly for when you do go to bed later on that evening. Number three, the sanitize and the wipe down. Now, I actually do this in hotel rooms as well as in cruise ship cabins. But something that you'll want to do is just bring along some Lysol wipes and you'll want to wipe down all of the surfaces. Now, I know that the cabin attendants do a good job cleaning, but in my experience, well, even in hotel rooms, you just really never know. So I like to take my Lysol wipes and I wipe down the remote, the light switches, any of the areas on the night tables, any drawer pulls, in the bathroom if there's a garbage can lid. So any of those different surfaces, I like to give them an extra wipe. And by the way, this isn't about being paranoid about any virus. This is just that I don't want to get any sickness. So even if the people that were in the cabin before me maybe had a cold, I really don't want to get that. If they had a stomach flu, I don't want to get that. So that is why I sanitize. Now, please let me know if you do that as well. If you've done it before, if you've just started it recently, please let me know down in the comments below. Number four, speaking of sanitizing and cleanliness, take a look in your bathroom. So you might look around in the cabin itself, but take a look in the bathroom as well. You want to make sure that that really is completely clean, spick and span in the shower, behind the toilet, everywhere. You know what I mean. Number five, check to make sure that everything is in working order in the cabin. Now, this honestly is one of those things that if you don't do it right away, it can kind of be a hassle a little bit later on. So check that the TV remote has a battery. This is not something that you want to find out at 11 o'clock p.m. if that's when you might like to watch TV. Check to make sure that the little mini fridge is working. There are times where maybe it's not cold enough, and if they do need to call somebody up or make any adjustment, this is the time to do it. Check to make sure that all of the lamps have light bulbs in them and that they are working. Check to make sure that if you have a patio door that slides easily. And a little bonus, lie on the bed. Check if it's too hard. If it is too hard, you can actually request an egg crate or just a little mattress covering so that can make it softer for you. And while you're at it, check the pillows too. Number six, drop off your carry-on bag and also put any of your valuables in the safe. So you'll have to set up your safe, but definitely take the time to do it. Put your wallet in there, your passport in there, any jewelry that you might have, any money, credit cards, put all of that into your safe and make sure that it is locked. Number 7, meet your cabin steward. So around this time, you'll notice when you do go into your cruise cabin that the cabin attendants may be in one of the cabins that is close by, and they will try to pop out and say a quick hello, but they are usually very busy, so it's not a good time to monopolize a lot of their time. But you do want to introduce yourself. You want to find out maybe a little bit about them, what their name is. And this is also the time that you are going to want to make any of those special requests. So if you do find that you need an egg crate, if you do find that you maybe need some extra towels, this is the time to ask for those things. As well, you'll want to ask for things like if you need extra hangers, let them know now. Don't expect them to get it right away, but at least if they know when they do go back for other people, they can do all of this at the same time. Now, this one is very optional, and I would say it's a little bit controversial. So if you feel comfortable, feel free to add your thoughts on this. Some people like to give a small tip at this time if they are making any special requests. In particular, sometimes they say that they like to give perhaps a $20 bill or something like that. Please let me know if you do that. Personally, I don't think that that is necessary. I know that the cabin attendants are going to do a really good job. They're very service orientated. So I usually give a tip at the end if I do give an additional amount. Of course, this is not obligatory, but this is something that some people like to do. Number 9, check your mini fridge. Take a look at what's inside your mini fridge. Now, I've noticed on recent cruises that sometimes these mini fridges are already emptied out, and sometimes they do have different items that you can take, but there will be an additional charge. So usually if I think I might put my own water bottles inside, my own wine bottles, if I think I might take some drinks back and maybe have them in the fridge or anything else, then I will usually ask the cabin attendant if they can remove all of the mini bar items from the mini fridge. Number 10, if you brought any magnet hooks, this is a really good time to put them on the wall. Now, I usually bring these in my carry-on luggage when I do get on the cruise ship, so I can put any of those sort of cruise essentials. I like to put my hamper out. I like to put my magnets on the wall, just so that my cabin sort of is set up as much as possible for when I get back in and I want to unpack a little bit later on. And by the way, if you are interested in cruise essentials and cruise cabin hacks, I'm going to make sure to leave a video at the end of this one that will give you some extra tips and tricks and how you can add cruise cabin storage with these handy accessories. Now, if your luggage is already delivered, there's a good chance it won't be, but if it is, try to unzip it right away and just at least hang up any of those items that do need to be hung that are going to get wrinkly. If you don't hang them up, try to hang them up right away, even if you unpack later on. Now, I have one more, and then I have one that you'll want to know about because it can affect the rest of your cruise. So one more is, especially if you are in a balcony cabin, take a look right onto the balcony itself. So go out, take in the view. But something that you'll notice is in the cruise terminal, you'll see that the ship is being loaded up with food, with the luggage. It really is a little bit of an interesting view, and it kind of is fun to see all of that hustle and bustle. That is not a view that you're going to see the rest of the cruise. Thankfully, you're going to have an amazing ocean view, and you're going to see amazing, beautiful ports of call, but it is kind of fun to get that feeling on the first day of your cruise. Remember to put out your do not disturb or your make up cabin sign. Now, something that happened to us on a past cruise, it was actually on a Norwegian cruise, is instead of having a sign to put out on the door, they had a system where you had a little light switch that said either do not disturb or makeup cabin. Well, we forgot to put out the makeup cabin light. We forgot to turn on the switch before we left for the day on a very long excursion, and our cabin attendant didn't know if we were in the cabin or not, so we never had our cabin cleaned for the day. It was fine, but in any case, we really learned. He reminded us we really had to make sure that we let him know when we were out of the cabin and when we needed our cabin cleaned. And on a lot of cruise lines, they'll have instead a sign that you can put out, but it's a good idea to get used to putting that out. It does really make life easier for the cabin attendants. Now, these are the things that I do to get my cruise cabin ready for the rest of the cruise, but please let me know what is in your cruise cabin prep routine. Please let me know down in the comments below. And I will leave that video all about cruise cabin hacks at the end of this one. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.